Hey guys, how's it going? So we're gonna jump back in. This is episode 24 of our solo RPG stream. So if this is your first time here, don't worry about it. You're gonna be able to get to something very fun very quickly, because we are about to jump into a dragon fight. And for those of you that have been here this entire time along for the ride, we're gonna figure out what Lee and the rest of the party how they're gonna get out of this. So it's gonna be dicey, I think. So it'll be interesting. I'm just trying to think of what else we need to potentially kind of talk about before we get started. I think that's it. I talked about most things yesterday in the stream. We kind of did an impromptu stream talking about some other stuff. If you missed that stream, there's a new blog up on the website, redragonfiend.com. There's a new video out on YouTube, so make sure you go over there and check it. Everything's at Red Ragged Fiend. And I think those are the two big things. We also have, the holidays here coming up. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do next week. I'm going to stream. Everything's kind of up in the air still. Not really sure what the schedule's going to be. So I figure we'll keep it pretty loose right now. So not sure if we're going to be doing this next week. Might take a week off. Kind of depends. It's kind of in that weird spot in between the Christmas holidays and New Year's. So we'll have to check that out. I think that's it. So let's go ahead and jump in and kind of do the recap. I'm thinking that this may be kind of a shorter stream because it's really going to depend on what happens with this fight and then what happens with Rhymefire, assuming we make it through. All right, so recap notes. What happened last time? So we had rested up and decided to go into the chalk pit mine to sort of take stock of everything. And we knew there were some bad guys in there. We kind of knew who they were. We immediately got attacked by some giant lizards. And we discovered an NPC that was sort of trapped in there by those giant lizards. And we kind of bandaged them up, and they're sort of working as a sort of backup healer. Basically using the same stat block for Basam, who is the new NPC. We did continue in, and we heard signs of the brass dragon wormling. Took care of that. Basam wants to recover a magical healing item. That's right. That's one of the things that we're going to look for in here. And it's supposed to be somewhere deeper in the mine. We haven't come across it yet. Arias' secretary also caught up with the party. We had a sort of weird NPC sort of show up. And we don't really know exactly what she needs yet. And actually, I'm going to add that to the to-do list. Let's figure out what secretary needs. Because we kind of put that on the back burner because we're kind of in the combat heavy, kind of stealthing around, dungeon exploration, dungeon crawling kind of stuff right now. So didn't really want to take the time to get totally sidetracked with that when we're in the middle of a dungeon. We did some very lucky social rolls with the fairy dragon when we came across it. And we sort of did a little once over and told her we had a dragon wormling, which was true, and we wanted to get the Rhymefire was interested in joining the dragon entourage that we found out is sort of here. So we were the fairy dragon outside, and we just kind of jumped it and took it out pretty easily because we were in a really good position because of our surprisingly good social roles, even though we don't really have particularly social setup characters. We did a little bit of looting. Let's see, what else do we find? Walked around the left corridor and took out a sleeping gargoyle. Yeah, we did that. Rappelled down a cliff, back up the other side, ran into some more gargoyle, took care of that. We found a hidden contract between Norcruth and the fairy dragon that being complicit in sort of helping capture monsters. Put down here silver dragon wormling. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be brass, right? Those are the ones we're finding. Don't think it was a silver dragon wormling. Right, we came across a dragon, took it outside. deleted out and Rhymefire, and it had sort of like an epic duel. Rhymefire ended up being triumphant, but it was a very close fight. Very close fight. And there was a lot of back and forth in that fight. And we healed up Rhymefire, and just as we were doing that, the Black Dragon, the sort of hidden boss that we didn't know about, Black Dragon Wormling, pulls itself up outside the mine, and that's sort of where we are. That's where we cut it off, because I knew we were going to probably jump directly into combat after that. So, speaking of, let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and set this up. So we've got Omer, Leah, no more of our Guil. That's going to be our Black Dragon Wormling, who has dex of... What's their initiative modifier? Looks like +2. So they're gonna be going on a 12. And they have... Let me just put that. 33 hit points, but they have that really nasty acid breath, or acid poison. Acid breath is black. So that's going to be really interesting, depending on sort of what happens. You know, if they get that off, a bunch of our characters aren't in a very good situation. So we could be looking at some potentially not great things happening. But let's go ahead and hop over. I think I've got just about everything ready for us. We just need to roll some initiatives. So let's go ahead and swap those things. And again, if you missed the stream yesterday, I talked about one of the things I'm looking to do is sort of move away. I've been using Twitch Studio, and I'd like to move towards a more feature-rich platform. So this is OBS. I used OBS yesterday as sort of a trial run. Liking it pretty well. Still need to sort of build things up and get things to where as good as they were on Twitch Studio, and potentially better now that we have a little bit more feature-rich environment to sort of play around with. So things will change is what I'm saying. Is what I'm trying to say. So let's go ahead and, alright, we swap things over. Let's get some initiative rolls. So let's do Leah and Omer first. Alright, Leah's gonna go before, and Omer's gonna go before. I know Leah has a higher initiative bonus than both of them. So let's actually put that over here. Alright, so Omer's actually gonna go after Leah. We'll do Basam and Delg, I suppose. And then we'll finish out with Rhymefire. Oh. Okay, so it's actually going to be Delg and then Basam. Interesting. Let's do that. So then we're going to have... And I'll just do that because we're using Delg's sheet for Basam. As far as I know, Basam's not really hurt, nor does he have any... Well, he's got a dagger. I don't think he has any other weapon. So, probably not going to take a... Commoner's not going to take a dagger to a dragon fight. So, he's probably going to be in the background most of this. More importantly, we need to figure out where Rhymefire is. He is a silver. Copper... Gold, silver dragon wormling. These guys are gonna be almost imperceptible from each other. And it actually has a flat dex modifier. Okay, let's do that. Alright, he's also gonna go before. In fact, he's gonna go, I guess, after Basam. Here, so Rhymefire's gonna go here. Do that. Boom. So actually we rolled really well on initiative. Everybody's going to get the drop on this thing, which is good. We really need that advantage right now. Because things are going to get real dicey because we have a flying enemy, nobody who can really do a lot of flying enemies except the other, our one flying compatriot. So it'll be interesting. The good thing is that Rhymefire does have, even though my stupid head is showing it, he does have that paralyzing breath, which is maybe going to be the difference maker here. Go ahead and put that down here. We can all look at that stat block together. Alright, let's get to it. I guess we'll leave that up, because I'll probably need to move. We also have Igni with us. So, I try not to overuse Igni, because Igni is a little powerful, especially for what is technically a non-combatant familiar, but if we get into dire straits, we can always kind of hope that he can do maybe some fire damage to help us out. Alright, but we are at the top with Delg. Alright. Hold on. Okay, yeah. So everybody's been healed by everybody, so we cannot use any more of the healers kits, which is not great. It would be really nice if we could use that. That's really going to put a detriment into what Delg and Bassam can do in this fight, so we haven't had a rest. Also, we're not at full hit points. Leah's at half. But we've got Delg first. Delg's here. Delg is going to use his sling. I think Delg kind of perks up and sees it and is like, scatter! And everybody starts kind of running in different directions. Actually, that's probably more likely Omer who does that, being the one who probably knows the most about dragons, besides maybe Leah. So he's going to sling and then kind of move away. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure 12 does not hit. I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure they have an AC of like 16, 17. Yeah, Ryan fires at 17, and so I'm going to say that's probably going to be pretty close. He moves away. Bassam's after him. He's going to do... Well, Bassam doesn't have a weapon. He's going to scatter and take the dodge action. After those two, we have Rhymefire. So, Rhymefire's a bit down, right? We've got... technically, he's a little bit stronger dragon. Rhymefire's smart, right? Rhymefire, yeah, he's got a +1 intelligence, so yeah, he's gonna play smart. He's gonna use that paralyzing breath. And so we need a con save. And then I'm gonna do... I'm down here and do 119. And then we can much easier jump back and forth between them now that I know the other page number. Black Dragon Wormling has a con save of +1. Alright, so he needs to roll 11 or better. That's not 11 or better. Alright, so that guy is paralyzed. Nice. Right off the bat. Which I believe paralyzed gives everybody advantage. And then... no movement. They are incapacitated, actually. There's no actions or reactions. They auto-fail strength and dex saving throws. Adjacent attacks are also crits. That's good to know. Alright, well that's the one thing Rhymefire can do. He's going to close in. And then... that's going to bring us to Leah. Well, Leah now knows that... Does Leah get close? Yeah, I think she has to. I think she knows that she's going to get at least one round. And knowing that, you know, the characters are smart, they understand the mechanics of the game world and conditions and things like that. They know that this is the opportunity for her to get close. And she could actually do some damage, some extra damage with that staff. So that's what she's going to do. So she's going to run up and try to whack it with the staff that she has. And roll terribly. Really, girl? I do not remember. I wanted to say that we had an inspiration point banked, though I don't have that written down, I don't think. Since I don't remember, I'm just gonna roll a yes or no oracle question. We sure do, apparently. Alright, I guess we didn't need the advantage, because we were gonna crit anyways. Alright, well, that's 2d8 plus 1. 10 points. I mean, was it any better than her spell? Maybe not. Than doing the firebolt. These guys don't have any resistance, do they? No, thank goodness. So yeah, he is gonna runs up and just jabs this thing, probably in the eye or something like that. Really like soft tissue because while it's paralyzed, which is really gross kind of to think about. Does a big damage on it. It's Omer's turn. Omer is in the same sort of situation. They're basically going to get a free round of attacks on this thing. Because it's going to have to... It's potentially going to save on its turn, which comes up next. So, and if it does, it's still not going to do anything. So he's going to run up and try to get that spear in. Got a +2 and advantage. Come on. Oh, man, really? Just going to start off with just terrible rolls. Like, we have everything in place. And we're just... The dice rolls are just going to... I hope that the rest of the evening does not continue that way. Or else we're in for a lot of trouble. Yeah, he misses and probably moves back some. As would have Leah, if they had any movement remaining, which I assume they have a little bit. Okay, that makes it our Wormling's turn, our bad guy's turn. He's gonna try to save to get out of that Constitution saving throw. He will still fail, so he's still paralyzed, which is good. Which brings us back to the top. Seeing that the thing's still paralyzed, Delg's gonna run in because Delg does have a melee weapon. Okay, finally, Delg's actually gonna hit. And I think that's just 7 points of damage straight up. Okay. But still. I mean, that's not too bad. It's down to 16. Bassam, who we said... he's got a dagger, though. Alright, how brave is Bassam? Let's make him... He's gonna make, like, a morale check. Using Delgs. Nope, he rolled above that. We were trying to roll under his charisma score, which is 10. So no, he does not. He will continue doing the dodge action. He's not really an adventurer like this. Alright, which leaves us to... Leah. She's still there, so she's gonna make her attack. 16 hits, I think. Let's double check. The 16 hit? Ugh, no it doesn't. Dang. And then Omer, again. Alright, that 15 definitely hits. For 8 points of damage. I mean, they're just gonna... Oh, I forgot to do Rhymefire's turn. That's okay. We'll do him real quick. Let's see if Rhymefire actually finishes this guy off. I thought this was going to be a way more dangerous fight, but a very clutch paralyzing breath. I mean, I won't speak too soon, but a very clutch paralyzing breath was really going to probably make the save for this. Turned what was going to be a really difficult combat where people were probably going to get really, really injured into a combat that we're going to basically, and again, don't want to jinx myself, but we're looking to potentially coming out unscathed. Why do I keep doing the wrong thing? No, I want to do this. No. Oh. There we go. All right, perfect. Does breath weapon recharge, I guess? Because he'd do his breath weapon if he... Well, it's a con save, right? They give him... I don't like this part of like D&D design, specifically 5e design. So they give a creature paralyzing breath that does a Constitution saving throw, which is fine. And then they paralyze it, which means that they auto-fail Dex and Strength saving throws. And then they give them a cold breath that also is a con save, even though almost every other dragon's breath weapon is a Dex save. So, just kind of a pain in the butt. Not great design, but it does recharge. Yeah, he'll do it. So we need a saving throw from... They don't have disadvantage on this, but they're going to fail it anyways. So they're going to take that 48 cold damage, which they're definitely not resistant to. And yeah, that's 19 points of cold damage, which is certainly enough to kill it. I mean, in a lot of ways, it's fitting that we have Rhymefire, even though we did things out of order, that Rhymefire ended up getting the kill on this thing. So yeah, in a flurry of, 10 seconds or so, this dragon appears, Everybody wheels, but Rhymefire comes in clutch with the Paralyzing Breath and turns a very difficult fight into a cakewalk. Also, one of the reasons why maybe, you know, from a metagame perspective, we're kind of maybe looking to get rid of Rhymefire, because we don't want him to be a long-term companion, because being able to paralyze creatures 1+ times a fight is really powerful. Right? And technically, he is too high of a CR for us to have a sidekick character, so he won't really level up, scale up with us. Because then he's going to jump, because if we did that, Silver Dragon Wormling down here, right? Or Young Silver Dragon. There's a jump from CR2 to CR9, which is a huge jump. There's not really too much progression. Like, sort of like a natural curved stepping stone. It's like big jumps, unfortunately, with dragons at their different sort of levels. But yeah, we defeat that the Dragon Wormling, and we are looking good. I didn't have to use didn't have to use any spell slots either, which is good. We also didn't take any damage, which is very good. What do we want to do? Now, but someone's going to want to go back in. We are not sure that we're not sure that we've cleared the place out, because we haven't gone through the whole place. And as far as we know, according to Basam, there is an item in there somewhere that he wants to get. We don't know if that's truly in there. As far as we know, he hasn't set eyes on it. There's just supposedly an item in there, right? Because he's searching for it. He's not trying to recover it, if I remember correctly. I said recover. Wants to recover a magic healing item. So there's a higher likelihood, I think, that it will actually be in there then, instead of just finding some sort of like mythical one. All right, so starting. We did that. Clutch Rhymefire, bro. Paralyzing Breath. Makes combat surprisingly easy. So what do we want to do? We rested not very long ago, but I mean, I guess we should take a short rest. I don't think we have people. I think we have people that don't have a ton of hit dice. No, everybody's got okay on hit dice. So yeah, I think they're gonna bed down. They're gonna try to get on the outside, right? They don't want to get stuck in there trying to take I guess they could take it in the throne room, but there's no door on the throne room. Yeah, so they're gonna try to take a short rest out here, spend some hit dice, do all that good stuff. And I think that actually gives the two of them their abilities back, right? Yes. So they'll actually be able to use the healer's kit again. All right, let's spend some. Well, first we're gonna attempt. Does anything show up while we're trying to do that? No. Woo. All right. So let's spend some hit dice. Leah is a wizard, which means she has terrible hit dice, and she's not gonna roll great, so she's definitely gonna have to use the other. Alright, that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, which will take her up to full, but that's all her hit dice. But she is, however, capable of being healed again. Nobody really used any ammo, so we don't need to worry about that. Del's gonna have to spend a hit die. Well, hold on. He's only 6 down. So of everybody, he is the best off. But I think considering where Leah's at with the hit dice, it makes sense to spend it so we don't maybe spend that resource otherwise. That's going to get him, I think, exactly where he needs. 6. Yep. So he'll be healed up and doing well, and he'll still have 1 hit die in the tank. Not that we'll probably have an opportunity to use it. We're probably going to have a long rest next time. And again, we're in a situation where 15 of 17, because he does not have great. Did I update his? No, I did. He just doesn't have any constitution, that's why. Makes sense. Did I roll really poorly? Because that should be at least 10 plus 8, right? Which would be... No, I guess that's right. Yeah, so we'll spin the hit die. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get at least 2 back, but there's a 1 on the die. Okay, we did. Alright, and we're back up to full for Omer. And Bassam, again, we're not really keeping track of, and I don't think he's taking any damage. Because we thought he was damaged when we found him, and it turns out that he was not damaged. The blood that was on him was from the lizards. Alright, so we're gonna we took a short rest to recuperate. Perfect. And now we have to think about... Rhymefire hasn't been inside yet. We gotta get Rhymefire inside. Because until we get Rhymefire inside and have a chance for him to look around, we can't make any determination whether this is the appropriate place. This is going to be the best place in the area that was kind of set out for us, because we know it's somewhere within that sort of area. I mean, we could just look at it. Within this sort of red area zone. So we know that that's what we're looking for, primarily. Right, for that home for Rhymefire. So this could be it. The only problem that I'm foreseeing is that... No, I guess there's enough for a large creature to get out. So that should definitely work for him until he gets at least up to CR9, and then he'll have to figure something out from there, right? Because I think young dragons are large. Let's double check. Yes. Okay, so he'd still be able to get in and out. It's going to be kind of a squeeze, but he could do it. So it's not going to be too small for him, which is my primary issue I was worried about. So we go back in. So as far as we know, we've taken out quite a bit of this. Is Rhymefire... I guess time to ask an oracle question. Do we want Rhymefire to come with us? I don't think so. I don't think we want Rhymefire to come with us. I think we want to leave Rhymefire behind, or at least in that entranceway, to sort of ensure that no other dragons show up to screw around with us. Because remember that the dragon wormlings were under the control of the fairy dragon until we, curb stomped the fairy dragon, and now they're back to themselves and kind of angry. We don't want another black dragon incident kind of showing up, but we also don't want one flying back to wreak its revenge and kind of come up behind us when we aren't expecting it. So we're going to try to convince Rhymefire to stay behind. We're going to have advantage on that. We're going to use... whoever's going to be the best at this, which I can't remember, might actually be Omer. Omer does have... he does not have Persuasion, surprisingly. So he has a +1, but I think Lee's got a +2. Yeah. Not that it's really going to matter. Rolled a 20 on the die, but let's double check just in case. See what the DC is. Good thing I checked, huh? So that's 20. So we literally just hit it, barely. So it takes like quite a bit of convincing, surprisingly, to get Norcruth. I think he's probably chomping at the bit to get in there, right? Or, sorry, champing at the bit to get in there and sort of take care of it, take care of things. Excited that maybe this might be his new home, and that he's won it in single combat, right? That was important for that sort of dragon, sort of pride and honor. And then all bets were off with the black dragon because they were already hurt and it was ready to throw down. Alright, if that is the case, let's look back at our map. So we are going to... Oh, that's right. I guess that's one thing I can't really draw on it, but I think you guys can see my cursor on it. Yeah, you guys can see the cursor on it now. So we're gonna come in, and Rhymfire's gonna stick around in sort of this area. And we've kind of looked through this area and that area. I don't think we went back in that little cubby, did we? Because I think we went around. So Or is that where we found... No, because we found some back here, didn't we? Where did we find some here? You know, it's been a week, and I did not take that great of notes as to what particularly went in. Actually, no, I took okay notes. Let's look back at the notes. Saying I didn't do something well, and I was like, no, I actually did alright. Discovered Blossom. Cornered in a rock crevice. That's going to be the corner. So then we decided to... Fairy Dragon, which was on the front. Walked around the left corner and took out the sleeping rock wheel. Peeled down and went around and came back up. Okay, yeah. So we've basically done this circuit. We've done all of this. This, like, left side passages. So we haven't done anything to the right, though. So we know there's this path that we haven't gone down, so we're going to go down that way. And we're going to get to this fork, and we're going to have to determine left or right. I guess we're going to have to relight a torch, so let's double check our torches. How are our torches doing? Okay. Actually, that would have been 8. That's fine. We rolled high enough. I'm not worried about it. So we're going to come to this intersection. We go left, kind of straight, or right. I think we can kind of see down there. So let's make some perception checks. Advantage, we have a bunch of people. We feel pretty confident now. We've got a pretty big party going with us. We got a natural 20. So I think it's pretty likely that we're going to see whatever's down there. I say that, and then, man, the dice are not on my side. We are unsure. Things are still kind of cloaked in darkness. We're going to have to get closer. Somebody's going to have to sneak up. Who's going to sneak up? I guess Leah. Right? She is the hero du jour, right? So she's going to sneak up. She's going to have a spell ready and see if she can sneak up. A little sneak. That's a pretty good roll. But the last one was a good roll too, so it really doesn't mean anything. 18. Alright, that will succeed. Thankfully. Against a 15 DC. Do we see anything in there? No. Alright. So we're pretty sure in that dead end, there's nothing there, unless we want to spend time looking around. But in this little dead end here in the center, we don't see anything immediately. Now, recovering this healing item, we didn't find it in the Fairy Dragon's sort of main treasure stash, so it's got to be somewhere else, so maybe it could be hidden. Do we want to take the time to investigate? I think the dragon wormlings were the biggest threat in here. And the Fairy Dragon. There may still be some Vargwheel around, maybe some more lizards or fire beetles or weird stuff like that. But I think it's worth it. I think let's go check. Let's make an investigation roll. Which she's pretty good at. +5. Then, man. Alright, we hit a DC 12. We do not. That's a DC 16. Alright, we take a look, but we don't come across anything. Does anything come across us while we're going through it? No. Alright, so we kind of mark that off, kind of mark that middle area off as not finding anything. We can go left, we can go right. Do we hear anything coming from either way, like any sounds, to make a determination? Because from looking, I don't think they would be able to. Okay, so yes. Is it to the left? Yes. Can we tell what it is? We've heard, as far as we know, the prevalent monsters in this dungeon. So does it sound like any of those things? No. Does it sound like creature-ish? No. Okay. So it must be some sort of... It could be something natural or it could be something weird. Is it something natural? No. Okay, so we hear something weird, something unexpected. Perhaps magical in nature? Could be. Let's see. And that was to the left, right? It's to the left, right? Exactly. So what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Well, Leah's the resident arcanist, so I guess she'll lead the way, and they'll take it slow and try to figure out what it is. They're gonna be on the lookout, so let's give them some perception checks. She's got a bunch of friends with her. You want to talk about bad rolls? The game doesn't get any worse than that as a roll. That's 2 1s. Man, the dice rolls are just not in our favor tonight. Certainly not the D20 rolls. Those D6s are pretty hot, though. I mean, what's the percentage of that happening? That's 5% of 5%, right? So that's a percentage of 1%. So that's it's just very silly whenever that happens. Not really what I was expecting. Okay, so I think that means that it's a fumble. So now I want to ask, because I had this feeling about it, but I didn't ask it yet. Is it a magical trap that's in here that we're just stumbled across? No. Okay. But is it a magical hazard then? Yes. Okay, so it's some sort of magical hazard. Got some hazards in here, so let's figure out what that hazard is real quick. 1d20. It's some sort of sticky goo. I'm gonna guess that it's some sort of like iridescent, like almost camouflaging, like undulating colors, like prismatic sort of goo that seems very arcane in nature. That's just kind of all over that passage to the left there. It's kind of all over this left passage. Ooh. So we didn't think it was a creature, but now if it's an ooze, that's a totally different type of creature than maybe we were thinking. Let's give a... She's the one with the Arcana training, so let's let her have the +5 roll. Man, 11. How many 6s have we rolled tonight? Nope. Never seen anything like this before. Cool. Have no idea whether it's some sort of hazard, if it's some sort of sentient creature or non-sentient creature. If it's gonna dress us. We're gonna turn around. Let's ask Bassam. Does Bassam have any sort of insight as to whether this is connected? Like, is there any lore connected to the magic item we're looking for? Like, is there any lore about, you know, guardians around it, or traps, or the way that it's guarded, or anything? Nope, he has no clue. Alright, so we got a bunch of weird goo. I guess we're going to try to get through the weird goo. Get towards. So I think I'm going to... Let me pull up the map again. So I think it's going to be basically one save to get to hit this junction, a second save to get to this junction, and then if we see something, it's going to be a third save to get all the way down to the corner of that junction, if in case there is a magic item or something down there. So we definitely want to go to that first one for sure. So let's make... And we're just going to... I think Leah's just going to go on ahead. And nobody else really has anything to help her with that. So she'll just go for it. Right, nobody has guidance in the party, correct? Because there aren't any other casters. I mean, we had one, but Naida's back at her place doing her own thing. Oh, man. Can we roll anything above a 10? Alright, let's check the DC, but I'm pretty sure we failed that. Hey, what do you know, we failed that. Alright. Well, something happens, right? There's got to be some repercussions to those actions. Since we're kind of dealing with something weird, I'm gonna do the D12 on this. Okay. So the way that this thing is, like, she ends up touching it, and it kind of works. as sort of like a sovereign glue almost. So as soon as it comes onto her, sovereign glue slash, because it's got a bunch of magical weird properties to it, I'm going to say sovereign glue slash dimensional anchor. So it is in fact going to stick her into place, and she can't teleport. She couldn't teleport anyways, but no other creature's going to be able to sort of teleport away from it. It's going to hold them down in times of the Prime Materium play. So Leah quickly finds herself, she's kind of going through there, where she kind of gets stuck at. And ends up sort of rubbing, you know, her leg against the side of the cave wall, trying to get around one, and ends up sort of scraping it, and I think it's sort of attached at like her at her thigh to the cave wall, and she's like, I can't move, guys. Guys, I can't move. I'm stuck to the wall. And they're like, oh, it must be very sticky. All right. So here's a question. Do we want to take the time to try to pull her out of this? Because I think that's what it's going to end up taking, is time. We'll do one strength check. We'll allow somebody to do one strength check. None of these guys are particularly strong. Again, it'd be nice to have odd. So instead, and if they don't do that, they're going to have to spend time. So they're going to have to get up there, make the save. And I guess even if they don't make the save, if they get close enough, they can still try to pull each other out. So who are we going to send in? I think we got to send in Delg and Omer. Because I think that there's only any chance of them doing it if there's two of them in there, because neither of them are any good at strength. So let's throw them in. Everybody's stuck. Everybody gets stuck in the hallway. They'll get tied into there. And let's make some notes. Now that I think about it. Alright, so we took a short rest to recuperate. We back into the dungeon. Took the right path. And turned left at the fork. Sorry. Took the right path and found nothing in the dead end. Went left. Following weird sounds. To find a prismatic ooze that really... Ooze. Hold on. Works like sovereign glue plus dimensional anchor. And Leah, Omer, and Del get stuck in it. Alright. Can they at least reach each other to like try to pull somebody out? I think that's pretty likely. Plus 3. Yeah, okay. 1d3, so... Alright, so it's Omer. Omer's gonna be the one they can sort of like grab and pull out. So I think Leah has some strength, actually. So Leah will lead, and she'll take the advantage. That's 16. That might work. It does work. Okay. So we're able to get Omer free. I should really just keep the DCs, but I haven't been keeping them straight, so I won't. Alright, so we got Omer free. Probably ripping off, like, part of his pants or shirt or something that kind of stays stuck to the wall. Alright, can we position ourselves to get Leah free? Probably. Or, nope, okay, so we're gonna have to do Delg. Alright, that's 13. Is that enough to pre-Delg? Oh, that's a DC 12. We actually did it. Alright, so both of them are free. Are they able to reach Leah? I think it's highly likely. Nope. Leah is too far in. She's still stuck. They've got to figure out a way to get rid of these things, or anything. We've got 2 healers. Do they know of anything that they probably deal with sticky substances of some sort, whether that's poison or acid or some sort of like poultices and things like that, salves. Do they have anything in their healer kit that would allow them to maybe attempt to dissolve some of this? So I'm gonna let them roll a, I guess, a medicine check. So we'll let Delg lead it, but we've got 2 people because we have Basalm there as well. So they get a +4 to this. All right, that's 23. That's almost certainly we're gonna get it, or we'll get an answer. All right, so we do know definitively. Yes or no? I think it's 50-50. Yes. Yes. So not only yes, we're gonna yes and that. Yes, and I think it's such a benign thing that maybe we don't even have to roll for uses of the healer kit on it. So I think let's go with that. And I realized I did not pull out the GM Oracle yet. Haven't needed it. There we go. I know it's in here. This is for my other sort of solo group. I've been sticking it in here. I still do that? Nope, apparently I pulled it out. I'm gonna put it somewhere. It may still be in here, actually. Or not. Maybe I have no clue where it is. It's not up there. Well, I've misplaced it somewhere, which means I'm probably putting the wrong folder. Unless it's in the back over here. Could be on the right. No. That's alright. We don't really need it at this point. So I think we're just going to keep rolling. Don't worry about it too much. I'll find it. If not, I can always print out another copy of it later. So yeah, I'm fine with this. We're going to use that for the 20. And we're going to be able to sort of pull her out. Or we're going to be able to dissolve this thing. Can we dissolve all of them? Actually, the better question is can we actually sort of like coat ourselves in this, or at least Leah in it a little bit, so she at least maybe gets advantage on trying to check out the rest of this hallway? No. Went from 1 to no to heck no. No, it doesn't work like that. All right. So we get her extricated. That's probably going to take some time. Does anything bad happen to us while we're doing that? No, thankfully. But that's where we are. What a mess. And that got us right to here. We did not move far. So if we want to keep traveling north, at least according to this map, north, we've got to go through 2 more of those things. I guess at this point, we can move a little bit forward, because it's going to, if we succeed, it'll get us all the way to the corner. So I'm guessing we can move up a little bit. Can we see anything interesting? Any reason as to kind of tell us that we really need to go that way? I don't think that's likely. I don't think we're going to see anything. No, we don't. We certainly do not. Alright, well... With that in mind, I think maybe it's better to check out, maybe see where this thing goes, or turn back the other way. You want to turn back the other way, or rappel down? Rappelling down takes time, so I think we'd be able to. You know, it's really 50-50. If I roll high, we'll go down. Okay, so they decide that we're going to rappel down here. So we can see from this area to this area pretty easily. We can see that there's a passage there. If we lift the light high enough, we can see between those. But we'd have to come down off of this, down into this lower passage that kind of runs underneath this sort of overpass that we're on right now, to kind of go around. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna let's update our notes real quick. Freed one with a medicinal concoction. And then we decided to down the east side of the overpass, I guess. Repelling takes some time, though, so I think there's another likelihood that maybe we're gonna run into something. No. Alright. Good. Good. These are all good things. These are all good things. These are all things that we want. So we'll get down there. We'll let Leah do a little stealth up. Man, these dice rolls. And be just awful at stealthing. So instead, nope, yeah, she makes a whole lot of noise as she's moving around. It's very echoey, right? It is a cave entrance, so kind of opening into a chamber, so it's going to echo a lot into that chamber. So that's not too surprising, and she's not a particular... I mean, she's a little stealthy, but she's not particularly stealthy. And she's not a rogue, for instance, right? She's a wizard. And she's sort of like coming up through that bend. Does anything jump out and grab her? No, thankfully. Alright. So she makes it to the end, and she takes a peek in. Is there anything that we can see, that she can see from there? I guess let her make a perception check. She is working by herself. That's pretty decent, though. That's a 19, I believe. Minus 1 for wisdom, but plus 2 for being trained in it. So, a 19. So hopefully she feels like she gets a good idea of everything. Yeah, that's a 16 DC. Alright, so she has a good idea that she's pretty sure she can see pretty well into this. I mean, there are some pillars, right? They're sort of here. Or big rocks. Big rocks. We're going to say big rocks, not pillars. So, there's some sort of obstruction, but she feels like she sits there for a little bit, and she's quiet, she kind of keeps an eye on things. And I think she feels like she's seeing a good idea between listening and smelling and watching. So, I guess the question is, does she see anything creature-wise? Yes. Okay. Is it Vargwheel? I think it's extremely likely it's Vargwheel at this point. No. Apparently not, even with the +5. Oh, goodness. Does that mean it's another dragon? I don't think so. I think we've probably seen the last of the dragons. We've seen 3 of them. So I think that's extremely unlikely. So -5. Good, which puts us at 9. So not another dragon fight. Alright, well we know that that's not in there, so it must be some other sort of denizen. Is it more lizards? 50-50? No. Is it humans? You know, we didn't really... but some didn't say that he came with anybody, but there could be other bandits, there could be people... We know that Norcruth was working with the fairy dragons, so there could be people down here. Are there people down here? Yes. Okay, interesting. So she goes and she makes... There's probably a bunch of fuss with the dragons and stuff like that. Now, I want to ask this follow-up question. Are there, like, cages and stuff, or is this, like, sort of like the staging area? Yes, okay. And so, I assume that a lot of those, if they're humanoids, got pretty well smashed by the dragons that were in there. Because we've had 2 dragon wormlings that have come from down there. Plus, who knows what else. There could be all sorts of other stuff down here. We just know there's not dragons. Are there still any... Well, are they currently fighting animals? Is there currently a pitch battle going on? No. Okay. So, does that mean that... Are there any creatures left in cells? Yes. Okay. But we know it's not dragons, so it must be some other, maybe trying to... kind of... Oh. Oh no, that would be terrible. I think that's a bad idea. I think something jumped into my mind, and that would be an extremely bad idea. Because the first place my mind went was Umber Hulk. Which I think is too high. I think they're CR5. Yeah, CR5s. So they're CR5, so that would be really bad. So we probably don't want an Umber Hulk in there. Also, I feel like I don't feel, based off of what we've seen Norcruth do, that wouldn't make sense. So let's do a creature type. Or not creature type. Let's do a native environment. No, I guess let's do a creature type, and it could be, so we know it's not dragons. We do know he was messing with elementals, so it could be elemental. I guess the question is it extra planar in nature? No. All right, so it's not that. It could be elementals. It could be giants. It could be some sort of monstrosity. I don't think it's an ooze. It could be an undead, maybe. I feel like that's unlikely, but it could be. So they are, technically we have 3, I guess technically we have 4 level 3 characters, even though that's very much a stretch. Give me a random hard encounter. Half ogres would be interesting. I don't think I want death dogs. Hippogriffs, maybe. Yeah, let's go with the hippogriffs. Yeah, I'm not gonna mess with piercers. Okay, there could be up to, let's say, 4 hippogriffs in here. They're still alive. There's 1. Okay, there's 1 hippogriff. Which I can't remember if hippogriffs talk or not, and since I can't remember, I don't think that the character should probably remember. If hippogriffs are able to talk. Being magical monstrous creatures, they probably can. Maybe. Or at least understand language. And we're gonna need some humans. Some guards, etc. Let's get some of these guys in here. Alright, let's look at this one. No, I don't want Minotaur skeletons. Dwargar could be interesting. I really like something that was a little bit lower in CR though than a 1. Maybe something that's like a half. Just to kind of give us a variety, because I feel like there has to be quite a few of them. Which there should be. Yeah, let's go with hobgoblins. That sounds appropriate. So there's going to be a bunch of hobgoblins down here probably. Okay. So let's do 2d3 plus 1. Simple. All right, so there's 3 hobgoblins, and they've managed to get retain the 1 hippogriff that's sort of in there, and I'm guessing there's a bunch of dead hobgoblins all over the place. And so that's sort of what Leah sees. Write down these. See 3 hobgoblins. Hobgoblins. Have, let's say, recaged a hippogriff. And I think she made a bunch of noise, but clearly they were very distracted by that. By dealing with the hippogriff. And all the other, and I'm sure they've heard a lot of commotion. I'm really surprised there are people in here concerning the Vark Wheel stuff. But maybe they don't come down here. Because the hobgoblin probably keeps shooting them. Alright, so Lee's gonna kind of crawl back and tell the team, like, hey, there's hobgoblins down there. It seems like that's where they were keeping the wormlings for Norcruth. There's 3 of them. There is a beast, a hippogriff, that's in a cage in there. But I think we could maybe take out the hobgoblins without too much trouble if we get the surprise on them. How does everybody else feel about that? Because I feel like Leah I feel like Leah's going to be very sunk cost fallacy, being like, we've come this far, and done this much, and almost died a couple times trying to get this place ready for Rhymefire. So I think if 3 hobgoblins is all that stands in our way, let's just take out 3 hobgoblins and be done with it. And so I think she's going to be persuasive. Should she get advantage on that? Because I feel like other people... Omer's going to be probably hyping her up. I think he's going to be definitely on board with the decision. So it's really about Delg, and it's about Bassam. So I'm going to give her advantage, because I think Omer would be helping. And there go the bad rolls again. So that's a whopping 11. Hooray! Are they interested? Not really. Not really. They're like, yeah, I don't think that's a great idea. Like, can't we just have... Like, they want Rhymefire to sort of take care of it. And so they're out. And then that kind of brings us down to 3. Now, I want to put them in a position where things make sense for them. So let's knock this down to, like, 2. So we can kind of... With them engage. Okay, it's still a hard encounter. So not impossible. But certainly more difficult. Now, the good thing is that Leah's got most of her spells left. So, if they're smart, they could take care of it. Like, they could try to Chromatic Orb one just right off the gates. We also have, well, we have Comprehend Language, but that's not Speak. Hobgoblins may speak Common. I think that's probably, I mean, I know in the book they do, but I'd like to think that the bad guys probably don't speak the human languages, that they're not in human society. That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. So, but hobgoblins are militaristic. They would interact with humans a lot more than, say, a normal goblin or even a bugbear would. Because they're probably even hired up as mercenaries and things like that by people who don't have as many scruples and don't care that much about who they employ. So do we want to try to talk to them? My feeling is that if you go up to hobgoblins that are very competent fighters, and you show up with fewer people and try to negotiate from a position of power that they see 3-on-2, they're very capable in their combat prowess. I don't think that they're gonna stand down from a fight just from talking. I think that's a very uphill battle, and based off of our rolls and Leah's natural, not the greatest charisma. She's naturally kind of charismatic, but she's not the greatest at persuading people, surprisingly. Because she's not really trained in it. She doesn't really have any skills like that. And we've talked about this as her character. She's very passionate, but she can be very standoffish too. So she's not really a people person. I mean, Omer's in it to win it. He'll be in there to fight with her. Alright, she's gonna switch tactics. She's going to try to... She understands that Delg and Bassam are not interested in getting on a toe-to-toe confrontation with something like a hobgoblin that's, gonna easily, in a toe-to-toe fight's gonna outmatch them. But if they can get back up on the sort of overpass and, give Bassam Omer's sling, and they could just sling people from up there kind of out of the way, and they just kind of lure them in there. So let's make another charisma check. She does have advantage, and we're still going to back her up. Alright, the answer's just no, flat no. They're tired of being kicked around. They don't want to go into this fight. This is not what they do. We haven't pulled the magic item card. They could have the magic item, right? So I don't think she's going to get advantage, but she's going to get one last attempt to try to pull Basam in. That's an 18, so maybe. Maybe she can get Basam on board, even though Del's fully checked out. He's not interested. Alright, that's a 16, so we hit it right on the nose. Alright, so he agrees. He's like, look, I can be up there. You can give me the healer's kit, but... Ooh, that's really the question, huh? If he has the healer's kit, he'd have to rappel back down, but if we leave the line there, then the bad guys can crawl up it. I'll keep the rope at the top, and if I need to go down, I can go down by just kicking it off, but then they won't be able to climb up, because if I remember correctly, it's like 25 feet or something like that, way up, so, I mean, it's not an easy climb without a rope, but he agrees. So let me record that series of just stumbles. Leah fails to persuade Delg to press on, and he returns to Rhinefire, I guess. I guess we should say that. We left Rhinefire at to guard the entrance. And he's going to be back there. Arise, the secretary, is going to be back there. But Basam is Basam agrees, but wants to work from the safety of the overpass. Alright, I think we're going to jump in and try to pull these guys in there, because I feel like if this is going to be the last combat, this is going to be the last sort of combat and things of this particular session and of this entire dungeon. So, before we do that, I think now's a good time to go ahead and take that break. So I'm going to go ahead and take a short break, and then we'll come back, we'll get this figured out, and then we're going to figure out whether we'll give Rhinefire the full dime tour, he'll get the nickel tour of the whole place, and we'll have to persuade Rhinefire to stay here, and if not, we're going to be back on the road trying to look for another place for him to call home. So hopefully our rolls change, and we start rolling better, or else we'll have put in a lot of effort to not really get a lot out of it. If that's the case. So hopefully it's not, but that's what we'll do now. I'm gonna go ahead and take that quick bio break, and I'll be back in just a few minutes. Stay tuned, be back soon. Okay guys, bye. Alright guys, let's go ahead and get on back to it. So we said at the end, right before I went off and made myself some tea, that we were going to initiate probably that combat. Try to pull those hobgoblins into combat with us. So we do have prestidigitation, and I think I'm going to use it in a way that's similar to... That's in a lot of ways similar to what you might do with minor illusion, but I think it's safe to say that you would be able to make basically sparkly lights with prestidigitation. I do know that making different color lights and sensory effects, small sensory effects, is one of the things that is considered a use for it. So I think I'm going to try to do that and try to make some pops of color for the slimes, you know, to replicate the slimes that above, that maybe draw some interest from those guys, so we can kind of lead them into an ambush, which is what I'm going to try to do, I think. Or at least that's my plan. We'll see. You know, the dice haven't really been with us this evening, so we're going to have to see how that works out. Alright, how do I want to do this? because it's like an Arcana check, but it's also kind of a stealth check. I'm gonna guess that it doesn't make any sounds though, so I don't think that, and we're not doing an active effect. Like we're trying to just throw colors up on the wall so they see it and they have to come around to attack us, or at least maybe one kind of comes around and we can sort of like get one bamboozled. So everybody's gonna hide and try to get a sneak attack round on this thing, on this at least one person who comes to investigate. If we can get this off. So let's do that. That's a total of 10. Nope. That's not gonna work. The question is do we hear them talking about it? Do they see it at least? No, they're busy doing something else. Can we hear what they're... Well, we figured that they wouldn't be speaking common, so we wouldn't know. So we could try again, but I think the longer we stay here, the more likely it is that something else kind of runs across us. So, and I think it's worthwhile trying to get the ambush. So I think we're going to try again. And basically we're going to keep doing it until somebody notices and kind of comes and checks it out. So if that's the case, then I want to make sure see if there's a random encounter that happens. Okay, no. So finally, at least when the hobgoblins does notice it, and they see people, they begin to hear people sort of coming that way. So she's still kind of doing the prestidigitation, like minor effects, as there are bootsteps that are coming. Can we discern whether it's one or more? I guess that's a perception check, but she's not very good at. 11. Impossible to tell. And everybody lies in ambush, and then somebody comes around the corner. How many of these dudes come around the corner? All of them. They all come around the corner. Alright. Pretty sure hobgoblins are over in here. Alright. Hobgoblins. Alright. They have a +1, so they're going to go on 11. And they have 11 hit points each. Okay, that's not too bad. It could be a lot worse. That's not too bad. 11 hit points apiece. It's not too bad. So they're going to go on 11, and they all have 11 hit points. That's fun. Runfire's not going to be in here. So we're going to put him down here at the bottom. And so we have 1, 2, and 3. Delg is out of this fight as well. So I think because Leah's busy doing the illusion that she can't get the surprise round, but Omer and Sam are going to be able to. And we're going to put him down here. Delg. And so we need to do some initiatives. Alright, I think the only person who's not going ahead of the bad guys is Omer. But Leah was Omer. So that's just the order they were in. But they're still going to get that full attack. So Leah doesn't get to act, well, so, because surprise works weird in 5e compared to other editions. So the hobgoblins just basically don't get to act in the first round, but neither is Leah, because Leah's technically already engaged in doing something. So Basam will get to go first. He's going to have advantage with the sling. He's going to miss, because these guys have an 18 AC. Well, alright, hold on. It doesn't really matter for this one. He's going to miss anyways, but are these guys have their shields up? No. Okay, they don't have their shields up. Because they're not thinking fight, they're thinking the weird sticky ooze stuff that they're investigating. Doesn't matter. Missed anyways. Leah's busy. Omer's going to, I guess, attempt to... Well, he's probably going to sling for the first round. He won't get too close to him. Man, really? Like, seriously, cannot... How many 6s are we going to roll tonight? So many 6s. When the Google Dice Roller doesn't work well sometimes. Or at least doesn't... It feels not random enough. As I spilled tea on myself. Hot tea, so that's fine. Then it was Leah. Now we're back at the top of initiative again. I guess he gets to hide as an action, so he would have tried to hide. Nope. Alright. So he'll take another shot. Because they can do that. They can do the hide as their bonus action. They have that cunning action thing as experts. However, that's probably gonna hit. That should hit. So we do finally do 1 damage. Finally. Hey, we at least do 4 points of damage to one of them. Do this first one. Finally hits one. This one's down to 07. Just gonna take it out. So Hassan finally hits one. It's Leah's go. Leah's right there. They're right in front of her. Does she have a big spell? No, she's not really an evoker. So she doesn't have a lot of real combat damagey kind of things. I think she's going to do a 2nd level magic missile. And she's going to put 2 of those on the first guy and 2 on the next guy. 5, 6, 7, that's enough to kill the first guy. And the second guy is going to take minimum damage for 4. Alright. I mean, at least we got one down. And this guy took 4, so he's down to 7 as well. Hobgoblin turns. They've got to do it. So they are... Both these guys are going to be in the fight still. Hobgoblins can be pretty nasty. They're going to close on whoever's closest, which is probably going to be Leah, I would assume. So the 2 of them are going to come in. So one of them's going to attack. Oh, right, they get martial advantage. Crap, this could go really poorly. So that first one's going to run up and miss. Second one's going to have advantage and just gets the martial advantage. Ugh, the 16 is going to hit her. Just going to do 2d6 plus a d8 plus 1. For 18 points of damage. So there goes all of Leah's hit points, I'm pretty sure. Almost. Oh, that's right, we're level 3 now. But immediately down to 3 hit points. Not great. Could have gone better. Which is going to bring us up to Omer. Omer's going to jump in with a spear to get that advantage with Leah while she's still in melee. And try to stab. And crit. Let's go. The brave, brave Omer. With good damage. 14 points of damage. So he straight up murks that dude. That dude eviscerates that guy. I was assuming he would attack that one, but did he? No, okay. Even with the +5. He didn't. So he actually just rammed that other one all the way through with his spear. Like into the side and under the rib cage and up into like the organs and stuff. Oof. Gruesome. And that guy immediately dies. That's the end of the round. It's come back up to Bassam, who again would have tried to hide. Oh wait, didn't he try to hide last time? No, I was retroactively doing it. Yeah, that probably beats their passive perception, actually. Does 13 actually beat their passive perception? Yes. So he's hidden, so he's going to get advantage on that sling attack. Let's go, come on. 12 plus 2 is not going to hit, unfortunately. Still swings wide. That puts us to Leah. Leah can't take another hit. If this guy hits her instead of running away, she's toast. I think she's got to use... She's got to use that last magic missile. I mean, she's got another spell, but I think she's got to hit. Just in case it makes its charisma save, which hobgoblins are likely to make. Because they're battle-hardened. So we're going to count off this one. So could technically survive, but highly unlikely because that's 3d3 plus. Yeah. So that's 9 points of damage. So that kills that guy. So it takes out that one. And so they are able to take out the rest of the hobgoblins. Not in a great spot. I think Basam's going to go down and try to apply some healing very quickly. Let's do that. So he gets to do, what is it? 1d6 plus 7. So 9 points. I mean, she gets 9 points back. It's better than nothing. So that gets her to 12 points. But yeah, we've definitely reached the end. Like, we really can't get into any more fights at this point because she doesn't have any hit dice or any ways to heal herself. She was healed by Basam. So we'll just notate that like that. Okay, excellent. I'm just thinking we did not try to loot the Black Dragon's body, which might have had something on it. But we are going to loot these guys and basically this room. So we're going to take the time to do that. Okay, nothing comes across. So let's do some loot rolls. Loot rolls. A 4. Back at contents. Gotta love it. Sort of random things that this guy have in his pocket. 6. And 1, 2, 3. Directions. Had directions. Question, are they directions to meeting up with Norcruth? I think that's almost extremely likely. So +5. Nope, sure isn't. Also, it's written in Goblin, so we can't read it. That's what that one means. So that's great. So on the bodies we find in Goblin to somewhere. I mean, directions could also be... Is there a map with it? Let's test that. Is there a map with it? Yes, okay. So a map and directions, but we can't read Goblin. To someplace. So someplace we don't recognize. What about this next one? So that's one of the bodies. It's on the other bodies. 8, which I believe is also pocket contents. So more random stuff in their pockets. A 2 and a 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Some sort of instrument. I'm thinking, for some reason it jumped into my mind, harmonica. I know that's a little anachronistic, but something about a hobgoblin, you know, playing blues on a harmonica is very funny to me, so I'm gonna go with that. A harmonica. I don't know, because musical instruments are relatively... well, it's a metal one. I guess, let's, we can probably figure out a price for that very quickly. Kind of looking at goods and things. I was seeing if it was under kids' tools and gaming sets, but it's not, I guess. Dinner, fishing supplies. Yeah, maybe we didn't copy them over. Kind of makes sense. Let's just figure out what that would be real quick. Oh, alright. That makes sense to me. Okay. Wow. Rolled quite well. So it's worth 19 gold, so this is actually a pretty... It's either the construction is very interesting to it, or it's made out of something precious, or it's very elaborate in its gilding and decoration. But whatever it is, this harmonica is actually quite pricey. And then we have one more thing. More pocket contents? Could be. Let's keep our fingers crossed for other weird stuff that can be in their pockets. Yep. One. Oh, a gemstone. We have a gemstone. A gemstone worth... how much? Alright. Probably can't be that. That makes more sense. Alright, so it's a gemstone worth 20 gold. So some sort of minor gemstone, like a citrine or a tiger's eye or jasmine, jade. Something like that. So we'll say common gemstone. 20 gold. So not too bad. Now, I'm assuming that there is probably something else worthwhile in this room. Probably, it seems like this is probably where they were camping, spending most of their time. So, let's do a roll for that as well. I guess this would technically constitute a horde, especially considering we actually didn't find anything worth a crap in the fairy dragon's little throne room for the most part. But as we saw with our interactions with the fairy dragon, you know, not the brightest light in the string, right? It's sort of the blinking bulb on the Christmas lights, so which is seasonal. So I think maybe let's roll some more d20s. So do another round, just for fun. See if we get anything. 16. All right, so some sort of currency. seven silver pieces. Woo! And in the camp we find seven silver. What else? We gotta find something else good. I'm gonna say no more pocket contents just because we've already got 3 pocket contents off of them. 14, some sort of trade good. 3, bone, horn, or pelts. Some bits of bone that we think might be useful, some sort of what we can sort of get from these battered animals that are probably left, but it's really only worth about 2 silver pieces. It's really not even worth picking up, I think. I think it's going to take up too much room for too little pay, so I think we're going to leave that one. See if we can get maybe something else. 10 more trade goods. 14. Oh, there's some sort of livestock. There's some sort of animal in here. Interesting. Well, I do have our things, I think, with animals. We have some of that. I make sure to bring over some of that information from, I think it's in the player's handbook. Not used very often. Question, is it a draft animal or so let's ask this, is it a livestock, like, was this food for these creatures down here? I think that's extremely likely. Yes, okay. So, let's see, there's... Alright, let's just figure out what it is. How many of these guys do we want to say there are? I'd say... Do we want to do a D4 or a D6? Let's do a D4. That makes more sense. Alright, there are 3 goats here. Which are worth about a gold apiece. Probably more worthwhile to make cheese or milk or eat their meat than. And we found 3 goats. They're worth about a gold each. But, you know, that's good eating, in case they need it. Now, we didn't do an investigation check. We are still looking for that magic item. I think Basam's really leading the charge on that, so I'm going to let Del do it, and I think they're going to help. But this is the last thing we're going to do before we go try to get Rhymefire and make a decision about things. So, he'll lead the charge on... Well... We'll let Leah do it. Leah's got the better score. It's more likely she's going to find it, but we'll have the advantage because everybody's helping. Alright, that's 16. Nope. You know, there's so many nooks and crannies in sort of this big place, so many rocks, so many places to hide things that it's almost impossible to check for with limited time. But that's sort of where we are. So, I guess we return. Let's see if anybody jumps across when we're on our way back, but I think at this point we have to... Looking at the map, I think we've sorted out basically every place that we can go. The only place we haven't checked out is sort of that corner. Oh, well, there's this sort of back edge over here we could go check out. Do we want to go check that out? Yeah, I think Basam's gonna make us do that. All right, so let's go roll over there and do an investigation check. We don't roll very well. It's 12. But the DC is terrible. Do we find the thing in here? Nope. Alright, so if it's in here, it's got to be back in that place around with all the sort of magical ooze. I don't think there's anything else we can get around that. So then we're going to head back. So we run across anything while we're doing that? No, thankfully. Alright, we're going to run back to Rhymefire. Bring Rhymefire in, kind of do the tour, show him the ooze, and get him down into this middle chamber. And then try to figure out... Oh, I guess this is a good point. Before we go too far, we do have a hippogriff in here. Can the hippogriff actually speak? Otherwise, they would deal with that first. There's the hippogriff. Can the hippogriff talk? It does not appear so. But we get a nice picture of it, a nice illustration, which I really like. Does anybody in our party have any decent animal handling? I don't think so. And nobody's gonna be... Well, I guess Del gets technically trained in animal handling. So we go collect Delg and everybody and bring them back. Show them everything, get to the hippogriff and be like, what are we gonna do with this thing? Do we just let it go? The only person I would see that would have an issue with that potentially would be Rhymefire. Unless Rhymefire wants to eat this thing. Does Rhymefire care if we let it go? I don't think so, though. I don't think he cares. No. He absolutely does not care. In fact, he wants us to definitely get rid of it. So I think we're going to try to animal handling this check to try to release it as easily as we can, because we really don't want to fight this thing. Okay. So that's 14, so maybe. Alright, that's 12. So yeah, get it at least... Can't really speak to it, but kind of give it the idea that, you know, clearly we're going to let things take care of itself. Does this thing actually leave and not come back? I think that's pretty likely. So +3. Yeah. So it screws off. And we don't have to deal with that anymore. And we have Rhymefire down here. Let's get an insight check, and I think we're going to do this from Leah. No, actually, we're going to let Omer do it. Because he has the most sort of He spent a bunch more time with Rhinefire than anybody else, so I'm gonna go ahead and give him advantage. He's spoken to Rhinefire quite a bit from his initial captivity all the way up. Not that it's gonna matter. We're still gonna roll terrible. 9. Do we get a read on how he feels about this place? Nope. We sure don't. I guess we try to persuade him. Like, hey, you know, you've had the tour, what do you think? This feels very sort of like fantasy real estate. All right, you know, market's hot, have a lot of other offers in, so, you know, what are you feeling? Because if you're interested in this layer, Rhinefire, we need to put in an offer now. Sure. Okay, 16's not terrible. English, no, because I gave him, so that's just a 16. How does he feel about it? Yeah, no, Rhinefire's interested. Rhinefire definitely feels like he can make this place his own. And now that we've cleared out things and all the bad guys are gone, I guess maybe I shouldn't have given that a bonus. Well, we haven't told Rhinefire about the Norcruth. Well, I guess he kind of knows. But I don't think we've explicitly told him about Norcruth's being tied to this place, and Norcruth's going to be very happy if he finds him again. Do they tell him about that? I think they do. They're not that crappy to him. They've helped each other out a whole bunch. So yeah, I don't think she would hang him out to dry like that. So we did pretty good, but does he want to say, so he's interested in it, but then we have to tell him the news about Norcruth. Does he still want to stay? And I think that's a 50-50. No. He's like, this is a really great place, but until we deal with the Norcruth situation, I couldn't use this place. We'd have to find some other place. We're like, you're killing me, Rhinefire. So basically you're saying we did do this for nothing. And how do you feel about helping Bassam? I mean, that'd be nice, but Bassam really hasn't gonna offer us anything, right? To do it. But Bassam did do us a solid by staying in that fight, right? So we are a little bit indebted to him, even though he didn't really do a whole lot for the fight. The important thing is they showed up. So I guess that's really the question, is do we feel like... How do we feel like it? Do we feel like we need to figure out how to get into that last corner? I mean, I feel at this point we're going to have to rest no matter what. But do we feel like we can get into that back corner to search? Because if it's in this cave system, it's got to be back there. And as we're going, and I guess part of that is, as we're going by, does Rhinefire think that his cold breath will do anything like freeze it and make it easier for them to get by? You know what? I kind of like that. I think that that's likely. And I'm hesitant to say even extremely likely. Yeah, let's do it. Extremely likely. I think if we freeze the stickiness, it won't be sticky. It's like, oh yeah, I can take care of that. So yeah, I think we head over there and he breathes down that hallway. And he may have to do it twice, but breathes through there, and I think they're able to scoot through and make it to the end. And I think they're gonna hook that corner, and do they see this thing? Do they see the item that they're looking for? I think that's extremely likely. It's the last place to look. That's 11. Yes, but there's some sort of interrupt scene that happens. And this is where I wish I had had the... Since I don't know where I ended up sticking it. Because I ended up putting it in the wrong place. Let me see if I can find it real quick, or else I'm going to have to look it up. Alright, I'm going to have to look it up, I think, real quick. Just to figure that out, and then we can figure out what the interrupt scene is, and then we can probably finish off, I feel like this. Hopefully this episode and this dungeon. And then we can maybe figure out where we're going to go with Rhinefire. That's really the big question. But let me move to here real fast so I can look this stuff up real quick. So I think it's in Drive, but I may have to go looking for it. Okay, it was in here. All right, that's fine. Let me turn this back. There we go. That way you guys can see it too. Let's see. So some sort of interrupted scene. Like I said, I've redone this, and I haven't really gone over it, but we can do that sometime. If you guys are interested, we can definitely pull this up and do a stream where I talk about some of the things that I changed in here. But interrupted scenes are pretty much the same. A few D20 rolls. 16, 16. Some sort of existing NPC. You know what? I think this interrupt scene has got to be the secretary. I think this is where the secretary comes into play. Because I think she's going to see them just kind of, you know, lazily just walking back and forth sort of around this dungeon. Now that all the hazards have been out. And I think she chirps up and is like, hey, you know, we've got a very important thing that has to do with... Question is, does it have to do with Fargrim? No. So it has to deal with Arias, I assume. So as we're doing that, as we're sort of... Let's go down here. So we show Rhymefire the dungeon and try to convince, and he's interested in, he's interested in staying, but not while Norcruth is still a threat, because that's part of the problem, right? And knows of this location. Fire is able to freeze the weird ooze. Group finds the magic item, but are interrupted by this secretary. So I got chase or pursue. So the question is Arias doing the chasing or the pursuing? Is he chasing somebody? He didn't seem like the chase somebody sort. He wasn't hiding. So, is he chasing somebody? I think that's extremely unlikely, so -5. No, he is chasing somebody. Okay, so he is definitely chasing somebody. Arias needs our help. He's chasing down. Yeah, we don't. What's the object? What's our object here? At 20. Which I think is us, right? I think that's how that goes. Yeah, it's chasing down us. He's trying to track us down. He's been trying to track us down since we left. Leah. Alright, to what ends though? What are the ends here? Like what does he need from us? Does she have those details? She may not have those details. Does she have those details? I'd say +3. She needs to be able to tell them something. Yeah, okay, so she does have the details. I think we're just gonna roll our next little quest. Right, that's gonna kind of keep us back on track. So one of the things that I added here, and in the new sort of setup for the GM Oracle was the little Questomatic. Alright, so the patron wants us to do something. Or wants us to do what? What are we trying to do here? 16. Wants us to chase or pursue somebody. Who? Trying to reach us to help so we track down an existing faction. I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, it makes sense to be like, yeah, the other people from our research team, I guess. Let's go down here. Let's do our factions. So we have, we can kind of take, I think, the Noble's Bodyguards off. I think at this point. They haven't shown up. I don't think they're going to show up. So we have 7. So if we get an 8, we'll re-roll. 6. Alright. This is faction number 6. Somebody at Split Valley Oasis. He's trying to track down somebody from Split Valley Oasis. Well, we know of 4 people that we know of. Or no, specifically a faction. So he's wanting to, I guess, help us. Does he want us to? Does he want us to help him get there? Maybe. But there are factions sort of there. I think he probably wants to meet somebody specific there. Let's just ask the question. Does he want us to meet somebody specific there? Yes. Okay. Well, we have 4 people, so who is it? 1. Which I think is Akari. Yep. Okay. So very interesting. So wants our help. Right there. Good. Bryce needs our help. He's been trying to chase down Leah. Help him. I mean, to chase down, so maybe to get in touch with Akari. He's learned something about Akari. To help him visit. In Split Valley Oasis. Now, I think that's interesting because when we were talking to Akari way back in the beginning, right? One of the first jobs we have is from Akari back in Split Valley, dealing with the elemental and all that stuff. I don't think we spoke to Akari at all about anything beyond the Myrmidon, the corrupted Myrmidon. I don't think we talked to him at all about why we were there. Oh, well. No, I don't think we did. Because that is where we picked up Omer, and that's why we were there. And I think we talked about being research people. But I don't think we specified with Akari. We didn't do a lot of chit-chat talking about specifically why we were there and what it was about. Alright, so that's going to be a new one. So that needs to be... So I'm going to go ahead and be like... Add, Mary / Arias mission to threads. Yeah. So I think that's it. We're going to take that long rest. We're going to get the item. Item's really for Bassam. And then I don't foresee Bassam sticking around. I think he's found out this is very dangerous. We're very dangerous people. Very dangerous group to be associated with. He was literally just trying to get this magic item to recover to help his village or wherever he is, wherever he's from. We haven't really talked to him about that. So the question is do we need to provide an escort? Do we need to provide an escort for him? I'm going to say probably not. If he felt safe enough to come out here on his own, being an intelligent person, I don't think he feels like he needs an escort. So the answer is kind of yes. Maybe he's more worried about it now that he has the magic item in tow. I don't think they want to help Basam any more than they helped him, honestly. He hasn't agreed to give them any payment. As far as we know, he hasn't given them anything. They've saved his life and recovered the thing. Basically done his mission for him. With other than some healing, you know, he really has provided a lot of additional help. So I think they're going to try to convince him to be like, no, you'll be fine, like, just hide the thing, and it'll be totally cool. Because I don't think they want to deal with that. That's pretty good. At least got a +2, so that's 20. So that will probably work. It does. Alright. So the group to go home by himself, basically. So here's the thing, is that we want to do the Arise thing. Obviously, we want to learn more about Fargrim. But we also are right in the middle of still doing the Rhymefire thing. So, and Rhymefire already basically did an adventure with us as support. So I think, can we convince Rhymefire to accompany us? To split Valley Oasis and do all that? I think that's extremely unlikely. And yet, we can. So I think we agree to... Because let's look at the map. So I think if we go from where we are, if we go back to Carjunton, and we know that to get from, like, if you're looking here, to get from Carjunton to Split Valley Oasis is, you know, a couple weeks of travel. If we promise to at least try to push another line through here, I think he agrees to go with us. He agrees to stay with us if we don't find anything. But if we do find something, he says that we need to do our due diligence for him and take care of the things for him. Which I think is fair. I think that's a fair compromise. And Omer and Rhymefire to and back to pick up Arias and head west to Split Valley Oasis. Sorry. Condition to cut through area looking for Naida's, looking for potential layers. Rhymefire. And if layer is found, we have to help him clear it. I think that's fair. I think that's extremely generous from Rhymefire. I think Rhymefire at this point understands that he's accompanying a group that aren't particularly good fighters. Leah's competent, but without Ott, and some of the others are kind of dead weight. So, I think if that's the case, despite that, he feels safer with the group than being out by himself against the Agents of Norcruth, which, as far as we can tell from playing the game so far, can pop up at any moment. seems to be a very popular person who we've pissed off, and so I think Rhymefire knows that he sticks with these people because he knows that there's no love lost between them and Norkruth, and that they will fight just as hard against Norkruth as even if they weren't fighting for Rhymefire. So he feels competent that the sort of, not even an enemy of my enemy is my friend, just that these people dislike Norkruth just as much as he does. Well, maybe not quite as much, but also don't like him. So, yeah, I think that's a good place. So that's where we're gonna kind of, I think, wrap it down. So these things are gonna go into. We're gonna take these guys. We're gonna move these up here. There. So, session goals for next time. So we're still searching for a safe player. We still need to travel back to Carjuntin. And so on top of that, we need to we want to convince Ott to come back with us, right? Search Carjuntin for Argrim's Trail. Meet up with Arias and transport him to Akari in Split Valley Oasis. Determine what to do with some of the ones. I think if we'll do that. We'll convince Ott to go with it. We'll dump. I think we feel safe that Aios hasn't been targeted really by anybody engaged with the research team, because he was like a gopher grad student. So I think if anything was going to happen to him, it would have happened to him by now. Yeah, we're not going to determine what to do with these NPCs because we know what we're doing with all of them. And all of them, look, if we're abandoning Carjuntin, which we probably should, we're really not supposed to be going back there. Since we kind of made a bunch of trouble last time. So I think we've got to consider not... we have to consider not sticking around very long. And that anybody that's tied to us, with the exception of maybe Aeolus, is maybe not safe in Carjuntin, so we're going to get everybody out. Aeolus will be able to... If nobody's pinched Aeolus at this point... Oh no, we can't dump Aeolus off. We're going to have to take him with us. Because if we dump him, then the bad guys will be able to extract information out of him. Because he's around listening to... Well, I guess he didn't technically come with us, right? No, he did. He did. We did say he'd come with us. So we're not going to dump Aeolus off. We got to bring him with us. And then we can try and find Norkruth and hand him the missive. Pick up any leads. Probably not going to do that. And I think part of this is basically we're going to not transport, not remove, let's read something, not rehouse. We are going to shuttle affected NPCs to new, we'll say, at this point it's basically a HQ in Split Valley Oasis, which maybe we'll do some downtime a little bit at some point. Maybe we can kind of get into maybe actually building sort of a headquarters. So this includes Arias, Secretary, Delg, Omer, and Aeolus. I think that's everybody, right? Involved? Which is a good way. We talked about trying to thin out some of the herd for our NPCs. And if we can make it to Split Valley Oasis, we can basically dump all of them there. because these are all great NPCs, and they're very, very helpful in very specific ways. Just none of those things are combat, unfortunately. And we really need to find... If we don't find Ott, we gotta find somebody else who's going to be able to help us out, because Leah's got to be tired of getting her butt kicked. But I think they are going to camp there for the evening. They've cleared out this place, so there's no reason not to. They feel pretty confident in that. So let's just find out. Does anything show up? No. Alright. So they... Rest in mine, in the chocolate mine. No counter. And then we're gonna travel back. Yeah, I think that's everything. So, like I said, maybe next week. I'm not sure if we're gonna do the normal Thursday stream because it's kind of in between the two holidays. So, I don't know exactly what my schedule's gonna be like and how I'm gonna be feeling because things are still very much up in the air as far as my schedule's kind of concerned right now. So, hopefully, we'll do that. We may do some other different streams, maybe some fun stuff that's not this. Just kind of give it a break, and then maybe we'll have some other fun on maybe some other days during the week when there's more opportunity to sort of just kind of chill out and do some stuff. But this has been a lot of fun. As usual, it didn't really go exactly the way I was doing. We really got hammered by bad rolls. Luckily, we got enough good rolls in the beginning that dragon wormling encounter didn't bite us in the butt. So, we're alive. We're still making it. I'm going to have to do the long rest. I'm going to do that. Tell myself, update the sheets. But yeah, that's gonna kind of be the plan, I think, is that we'll pick it up there. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else we need to talk about. I think that's it. If you missed this or you want to go back and watch any of the old episodes, all those are up on YouTube. You can go check out the entire playlist. And hopefully I'll be uploading some more videos that I've been working on and get those things and everything's caught up. Maybe we'll do some fun streams over the holidays, so keep an eye out for that. So if you want to keep all that, make sure you follow and subscribe, etc., etc., so you get the notifications for everything. But that's going to be it for me. It's been a lot of fun, and I'll see you guys next time, alright? Bye.